Thank you. So this MRP2 view, the externally procured or internally procured, the difference starts from the procurement type. So it is a procurement type, here it is F. The procurement type is E for the in-house production items. Okay. And as I told, the in-house production time for the external procured, it is not activated here in the scheduling tab, but here it is there. These are all controlled from the configuration of the material types, and also in the specific metal master, which field has to be there, which field need not be there. These are all specific configurations which we'll discuss later. Okay. So now the procurement type, if you see, then another field is called the store location for external procurement. Store location for external procurement, EP. EP means external procurement. If I get the metal from outside, where I need to keep the metal, so that system will default to propose this is the store location you have to keep. If you keep the store location field empty here, during purchase order creation, you have to go and fill it. Because in purchase order, you have to mention which store location you want to receive the material. If you don't keep this field in this area, then in purchase order, you have to go and fill it again. So this is one of the field which people do not use it normally. Right? So every purchase order, the buyer will go and fill it on his own. So there are many mistakes are happening. Instead of that, in the metal master itself, you define proper store location where it has to come. It will reflect in the purchase order. Okay. For in-house production items, external procurement field is not required for in-house production items. And then for externally procured items, we need to have the planned delivery lead time. This is the lead time of the supplier. How many times? Again, the planned delivery time is the calendar days. It is not considering whether it is working day or holidays. It is considering total calendar days. Right? Then for internally produced items, it is the in-house production time that field is used. And this in-house production time is which is inside the plant. So it is taking only the working days. So right. So plant delivery time is a calendar day. In-house production time is working days.
So for plant delivery time for externally procured, we need to put the weekends as a buffer, sir.
Sorry.
We need to put the non-working days also. We need to include that also in
Yes. What is the lead time? See, when you are negotiating with supplier, are you telling that to include the lead time and holidays and other things?
So I don't deal with suppliers, but I think they
See,
tell
when there is a negotiation with suppliers, normally we say the lead time is 10 days, 20 days, 30 days like that.
Yes.
We do not say them these 30 days is including Saturday, Sunday, these 30 days is including all days, those things we are not telling them.
No, we don't. We
are
total
telling them 30 days I need the material.
Calendar days, yes, sir.
Right. So that is why plant delivery time is always calendar days. But in-house production time is we are going to produce inside the factory. So inside the factory, we have to consider only the working days. We cannot work on the holidays.
Yes.
So we put that in-house production. Again, all these parameters are planning parameters. When you are executing, if you want to change something that is different, leave it. Now that those things we'll discuss later. But for planning purpose, this is what system has to consider. Then there is a right. These are the major differences which I wanted to highlight. Okay, the procurement type, store location for external procurement, plant delivery time, in-house production time. Okay, these are major differences between external procurement and internal procurement. Now let us come to the procurement type. Procurement type defines whether we have to procure the materials internally or externally, or we can buy both options. Both options also we can give. For example, some materials, sometimes I produce inside, sometimes I buy outside. That option is also there. But at the same time, you have to restrict the procurement type based on the material type also you can restrict in the configuration. For example, there is a ROH, raw material. I always buy from outside. I will not allow the buyer to go and change that to procurement type F to E, means purchasing to the in-house production. That means I can fix that field. Always it is purchasing. That is there. So these things, right, I can define in the material type, the procurement type X is selected. Sorry, there is a restriction of procurement type. And when we have procurement type X, which is both the options, I can do in-house production or I can purchase. system will give priority for internal procurement first, because normally what organization's intention to fulfill the internal capacity first, then go for external purchase. That is what normal tendency of the organizations. Okay, so that we have to take it, and again we have to take care that now X, whatever it is proposed, it is not going to take the planned delivery time for your proposal, but instead of that, it will consider the in-house production time as the requirement whenever you have this X as the procurement type. So that is care has to be taken. There is a special procurement type which defines how we are going to buy the metal, whether you are going to buy direct purchase, or it is going to be subcontracting, or it is going to be a plant-to-plant transfer. Those things are defined in the special procurement type, right? So now this is little bit explained here. So what are the parameters we are using? In the procurement type, F means external procurement. E means internal procurement, that is production. X means both. Again, when this option is selected, system assumes in-house production by default, but it will give possibility that we have to change it. The combination of procurement type and special procurement type enables system to precisely given the right procurement proposal. For example, if I keep procurement type as F and the special procurement type as blank, it is meaning is directly I'm purchasing from outside. If I define procurement type as F, but special procurement type as 10, then it is a consignment stock. If I define as a combination of F and 30, it is subcontracting stock. If I define F and 40, it is plant-to-plant stock. With F and 45, it is the location where I from the plant to MRP area. This is a special procurement type 45. This is where the stock will move from the stock to the MRP area. E, in-house production, if it is in internal in-house production, and then E and 50 if I put, it will treat it as a phantom assembly. So for this course, we'll be discussing F and blank, we'll discuss F and 30, we'll discuss F and 40, we'll discuss E and blank, we'll discuss E and 50. Others, you will be exploring yourself, okay? Right. Next is the store location. So we discussed procurement type and special procurement type. There is a production store location. There is a field called production store location. What is the production store location? This production store location, if it is a production item, when I do the goods issued from production, where it has to be placed, that is called production store location. When I have the in-house production item, when I produce the item, after completing the production, where it should be received, that is called production store location. Okay. And another thing is, if it is a component to be consumed in production order, and if it has to be consumed through backflush, which means automatic consumption, from where it has to be consumed, that is also defined here. Okay. For backflush also, it is the same location. So this location, if you define it, system will bring this metal into the stock if it is a produced item, and it will also consume from the store location if we selected the backflush. Backflush means automatic consumption during production.
Sir, I have a question, sir. Here you have given procurement type as F and special procurement as 30. So it is in a subcontracting process, right? So subcontracting process, you should only fill storage location for EP, right? Why in the screen we have both product? It's because of the backflush.
Yes, that's what I'm backflush. If I have the subcontracting, I have a subcontracting process. I process the component, bring it to the stock. Okay, that is F30. After bringing it to my stock, that is coming to the store location for external procurement. Now I have to consume for my production through backflush. That will consume from this production store location 171B. That
okay,
is
if you don't give backflush one, normally we should not fill the product storage location, right?
Need not, yes.
Okay, sir, it's clear.
So one question, sorry, sir. F is external or internal? So sorry, I forgot. F procurement type F is.
You see here.
F is external. Oh, okay.
Yeah. E is internal, and F and the combination of blank is direct external procurement. F and 30 is subcontracting.
Subcontracting, okay. So we've defined the storage location, and then the backflush also takes place automatically if we have defined the storage location in MRP2.
No. If you define the store location, that is one thing where it has to take. But backflush will happen based on this field which you are going to discuss now. This is backflush field.
Okay.
This backflush field, here we can define whether we have to backflush or not. If I keep this blank, this backflush field as a blank, we have to manually issue the item to the production. It will not backflush. Automatic consumption will not be there. But when I select this field, if I field as a 1, then system will always take it as a backward consumption. That metal will consume from this production store location. It will consume from the production store location.
You would like, if I was a customer, you would like the process to go very quickly. So why is there an option not to have backflush, and why is there an option to have backflush?
Okay.
Because
see, when we have the consumption, no, sometimes if I go as per backflush, there may be fluctuation in my consumption. I want to control the consumption which is happening there. So I want to give the manual consumption there. There are some production where you cannot have a consistent consumption. There may be variation because of some inconsistent process or because of the raw material input, those kind of things. I always want to ensure that manually metal is issued. I do not want system to consider as backflush. That may be one of the reasons why we don't go for backflush.
Okay.
But mostly people go for backflush. But there are some specific situations where I do not want system to take the automatic consumption. We will say that I do not want this one, so we keep this as a blank. Okay.
So in case when the backflush has not been there, so definitely the picking slip would be generating, sir, and then we would be manually because
Correct.
yeah,
picking slip again. Picking slip generation, you have to again for the particular production order, you have to trigger the picking list. Then they will issue the metal here, and you have to issue the metal to the particular production order through MIGO.
Yeah, correct. Okay, yeah, and that is just because you said like because in Bosch this was like one of our major criteria where the production order used to get released, but warehouse used to goods issue it every time manually, and that was a big concern for us. Is that like why that is happening every now and then, like for every production order that has been there? Once the MRP looks, all the material been available, and if if automatically releases it, but still the goods issue used to happen automatically, manually.
See, again, it depends, you know. For example, if you have a big warehouse, from big warehouse, you have to move the metal to the production area. That is a triggering, which has to happen from the big store list to the small stores. From small stores, it has to consume automatically. There you can use this backflush from the small stores where the production store location is defined as the small stores. That is one option. If you are using warehouse management, the consumption of metal, you have to little bit be careful. You have to define it accordingly. So it depends on how the physical movement is happening. Okay. And metal has to move, no? Physically it has to move. For example, for your production, if you have the production order today.
Definitely. But creating the...
tell me. Yeah, Mandar, continue.
Correct. The material has to be moved, but then why do we need to create the packing slip and everything?
That's what, if I have to start the production tomorrow, I have to move the metal today itself and keep it there. Then the stores should have the reference here and move the metal so that I want to see the store metal is not there in stores, but it is moved to the production area. I want to show it separately. Then they have to move it separately and keep it there.
Okay. Yes.
But if there is a chemical industry where if I run the production, automatically will get consumed, I will go for backflush for it. But if it is mechanical industry, it is not going to consume automatically. From source, it is not going to consume automatically. I have to move it. So I have to create the picking list. I have to move from these two. Maybe the production store location, no, I will keep that metal in this location. From there, I can do the backflush. But from the main store location to move to this location, system will create a picking list based on the production order. So based on production order, they will move it. Are you getting?
I actually got out the concept of a backflush where there is an automation. When there is an automation in the production process, this is very useful. Where straight away our system will allocate that material. But generally, in the mechanical industry, you have to move the goods from here and there. So
Right.
mostly that's the reason it has not been acceptable. Am I correct?
It is one thing. Again, even mechanical industry also, if you move the metal near to the production, it is in the production area, there you can make it as a backflush, but you have to treat that location separately here. If it is not without warehouse, you have to use this production store location. If it is warehouse management function is triggered, then we have to use the default supply area. Then this field will be used. Now we are not going to have this warehouse management area, so I am not using the default supply area field. But if warehouse management is implemented, then this control will be taken care by this default supply area.
Okay.
But now we are talking about the function, the system without warehouse management. So we are in the production store location to it. What is happening in some companies, right? They have the raw material store separately. So they have the store location for raw material. And then they have the production store location separately, which they call it as production store location. When the metal is coming, they keep the stock here. Based on the daily indent, they move the stock from here, the raw material store location, to the production store location. From there, they consume it. Right? Then we can have the backflush, but it is coming from the different store location. So on what kind of the physical layout of the stores, on how the metals are getting consumed. As I told, if the metal has to move, we have to set all these things, keep it ready. What is the time gap between metal movement and the consumption? All these things are defining whether we go for backflush, from where it has to backflush. It is not, these are all options available. How to use depends on the location and how do we move the metals.
Okay.
So the
So you said,
sorry,
one last thing, sir, that you said about Amigo. What is that? Sorry.
we'll come that. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, good that you at least noted this point. Keep it. We'll come back. So backflush indicator, it is normally it is metal master. Then if it is in metal master, that one, if you put it, it will backflush always. There is also option to enter the backflush in work center. Right? If you define in work center, if you don't mention in the metal master, if you mention in the work center, whatever the metal related to work center, they will get backflush. That is also option there. If there is no backflush in work center, we can define them in the routing also. If there is no definition in routing, for individual production order, we can define backflush. For example, I don't want the backflush to happen for all the production orders. For specific production orders, I want a backflush. There you can define. Or in the metal master, I define backflush. By default, it is coming to all production orders, but specific production order specific, I don't want backflush, I can go and remove it. So there are many options for the backflush. Okay. Then planned delivery lead time. So we discuss this procurement type, special procurement, production store location, external procurement, backflush. Next is the scheduling tab, the scheduling section. Here, planned delivery lead time. This is the lead time we agreed with the supplier. This is in calendar days. And it does not include the goods receipt processing time. This is the time from which the supplier is delivering the material, right from your purchase order time until it is reaching your gate. That is called planned delivery lead time. Okay. Until the time you are releasing the purchase order, getting the material. That is called planned delivery lead time. It is not including the goods receipt processing time. Okay. The goods receipt processing time for purchase items, we maintain in the purchasing view. That will copy automatically from there to here. For in-house production items, after producing the item, we have to keep the goods receipt processing time here. What is goods receipt processing time? We receive the materials in the factory. After that, for opening, unloading, all these things, it may take 1 day or 2 days for some items. Or there may be some inspection we need to do. That quality inspection may take maybe 1 or 2 days. Or we have to send the material for outside for inspection and getting it. So depending on what is the activities which are required to do the inspection, receiving activities before making the stock available into the system. That is called goods receipt processing time. And this is defined as working days. Goods receipt processing time is defined as working days. So what we defined here, the in-house production time, that is defined as working days. Planned delivery time, that is defined as calendar days. GR processing time is defined in working days. Okay. And again, these days will get added during the planning. And then in according to this number of days, system will plan the material in advance. For example, here 7 days here delivery lead time, 2 days means 9 days. If I have requirement on 31st July, it will take this 2 days. So which means 29th July, then 22nd July, I have to release the order. That is how it will work. So wherever we reduce these timings, it will be good. Okay. Then this is in-house production. In-house production time is the time required for in-house production. This field does not represent what is the actual cycle time. For example, to produce one product, actually it may be required only 20 minutes or 25 minutes. That is not we are filling here. Here we are filling as a general production time, like no, it involves like setting the machine, other things. It's for planning purpose. This in-house production time is just a planning purpose. It is not for the actual execution time. Okay, this is defined in working days. In-house production time is defined in working days. If your cycle time is like half an hour or 1 hour, and you do not have other constraint, no, you can put your in-house production time is 1 day only. But sometimes your in-house production time, right, you take some, because here you do not have any quantity or something here. If you have like 500 numbers or 1000 numbers is normally your lot size you are getting here, then according to that you define 3 days or 4 days as the in-house production time here. Okay, but again I'm telling, this is not the cycle time. It is not that the per unit cycle time or routine time it is here. It is the general production time for a average lot size of materials. That is what in-house production time, and this is defined in working days. The schedule margin key is another important thing. The schedule margin key is defining what are the flows which will be used in the planning process. The schedule margin key involves opening period, right? The opening period means it is the time required to open either the planned order or the thing, so the purchase request, process it to production order. That is called open order, opening period. And then float after production, float before production. Because before production, I want 1 or 2 days for preparation. After production, I want to do some cleaning and other things 1 or 2 days. I can incorporate those things. So when you define these schedule margin keys, system will consider these floats and then plan the materials accordingly. After production 1 day, before production 1 day, then the opening period 1 day means it will consider all these things in addition to the in-house production time, GR processing time. It will consider this and give the requirement. Okay, we'll see these things one by one. Now coming to external procure items, this is the planned delivery lead time. So when external procurement proposals are given by system, planned delivery time is referred, and the planned delivery time is maintained in metal master, that will be taken. But whatever you define in the purchase info record, maintain the purchase record, that will be taken as a priority over metal master. Okay, that will be taken as a priority in the metal master. So if you maintain delivery lead time in purchase info record, that will be taken as priority, not in the metal master. And also for the info record, if you have to take this in source list, relevant data like scheduling should be maintained. Okay, you have to maintain it. And then scheduling of external procurement works as following. For example, my requirement date, that means which is available date, this one, that is a goods visit process defined. For example, 3 days. So 3 days before. Then we have the planned delivery time, that is 7 days lead time, that is the GR time. This time, no, planned delivery time is what is the metal I am receiving at my factory is called the goods receipt date. After that, I complete the goods receipt processing, it is become as available date. These two difference also you have to understand. What is goods receipt date? What is available date? Goods receipt date is the date on which it is received at my gate, or it is received just at my stores. But it is available for my usage only after executing this goods receipt processing. Like I opened, unloaded, kept in stock, I completed my inspection, then only it is available. That is called available date. That is my requirement date. Okay, this is GR date. And then there is a time, no, this is a planned delivery time, is a lead time of the your supplier. There is another thing called purchasing department processing time. For example, in companies, right, they have a purchase requisition. To convert the purchase requisition to purchase order, there may be some internal approvals. They will take some time for these things. that is defined at the plant level. It is not defined at individual metal and other things. It is applied at the plant level as a common thing. It may be defined at 1 day or 2 days. That system will add this also. And then there is a opening period, which means that I want to have some processing and all, right? So like this, it will consider and will give the proposal the date for the purchase items. And there is a transaction called WPDTC to calculate and compare the planned delivery time of material and the purchase info record. And all these things we can compare. This we see later. If it is in-house production item, system will consider in-house production item for the planned orders. This is in the MRP2 view, which is lot size independent. It is irrespective of my lot size, whether it is 500 or 1000 or 2000, we consider it. So here I take average lot size of metal which I am producing. Like normally I'm producing 1000 numbers. I mean, considering that I put the in-house production time. But if I want to consider the batch size also, we can maintain this in work scheduling view. That we will see it later, where we can define what is the base quantity, setup time and processing. That is also a number of days only. That is not defining the, again, it is not defining what is that cycle time, what you are telling in minutes. It will be again talking about the number of days only. And then there is a basic determination during MRP run. So system will consider all these dates as a basic determinations. If you select a lead time scheduling, the orders will be based on routine time. We will discuss during MRP run this point. The scheduling of the in-house production items will happen based on this, again, the requirement date, that is available date. And this is the GR date, which is the goods received date after in-house production. When I start the in-house production, we have the opening period also. This is a processing here. For this purchasing item, the opening period will not be there. Okay, sorry for this. This will not be there, opening period for purchasing items.
So I have a question, sir.
Yes.
So what about the goods issue date? So where will that come in this particular?
Goods issue is, no, we are talking about only the receipt date here. We are not talking about goods issue here. I am getting the metal, I have to keep it in the stock. That's it. Goods issue is after that you are issuing it. Why are you confusing the goods issue here?
For in our scenario, sir, we we place the purchase order with the supplier. The supplier then sends us the item via the container, and then the goods are issued first, and then the goods are receipted in, sir. So the GI is done first, and then GR is done, sir.
That is not right procedure.
Huh? Oh no.
How can you issue the metal without having stock in the plant?
That is always what is done. So GR is the last date, and as you said, then finally after GR there is a goods receiving GR processing of 1 day, and after GR processing of 1 day we get the available date.
Let us ask Mandar and Kani, is it the right procedure?
No. I think so. Because for us, it's like, as sir said, that like unless and until the component is not into the inventory, how can we goods issue?
See,
are you a third party vendor? Third party logistics or something?
No, we are not 3PL. So we are the core company. We are the core company. We place the purchase order in China, and China then they have their systems there. They produce the items. They send it to us on a container from China to Germany, and when it comes to Germany's port, it is then sent from Germany's port by a carrier to our warehouse. And as soon as it receives the warehouse, the first step that is done by the warehouse team is goods issue, GI. After GI, then they do a goods receipt. After goods receipt, there's a GR processing of 1 day, and then we get, and on MDO4 transaction, we get the date that comes as the date is the date that is the available date. But GI is always done first, which I don't. I tried to ask this question with my colleagues. They say no, goods issue is always the first thing. So the warehouse goods issue. If after goods issue there is an issue with the items, there is some quality inspection needs to be done, then the item goes into block stock. It doesn't go. It's not unrestricted. It goes into block stock, which we cannot see in MDO4.
Yeah.
But goods issue is done for us first, then goods receipt, and then it comes as available stock.
But how is it possible?
See, that
this is
process
first time for me as well.
Mandar, Sigmund, this is not the right process here. Something they confuse, and you are telling, no? You are telling that is a long process you are following. That is not a long-term process. I don't know how your auditing and all they're accepting it. This also will lead to negative stocks in the organization. This is not the right. That's what I can say. But again, what is the decision taken for management? All these things you have to consider, then do it. So GA has to be done only after goods receipt. Okay, that is the right process. That is the best process, best practice suggested by SAP.
So this is okay, but I cannot suggest it because this has been going on since 2012, sir.
But it's a standard supply chain process,
why not you
right?
suggest? Why not you suggest? You can, but now again, you complete this course, then you can go and suggest it. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Either they receive their goods in German warehouse, they do stock transfer orders. Maybe
I do the stock transfer order, Kani. So what I do is
that's why it's a goods issue, yeah, to you.
No. Even for normal suppliers from in the European Union, we have goods issue done first and then goods receipt, and then if I want to balance the stock in two warehouses, I do a stock transfer order, STO, or you call it a transfer order, and I send it from one warehouse to the other warehouse. That's my job. But even in this, in STO, when I create a stock transfer order, the first thing that gets done in the warehouse, if I move from Germany to the UK warehouse, the first thing the warehouse does is a goods issue, and after the goods issue, they do a goods receipt, and the GR processing again is 1 day for a stock transfer order.
The stock transfer is definitely from one place, from one storage location, you are sending to this another storage location. You have to goods issue it, but before goods
I think
you should have the material in stock, right? There needs to be an inventory.
I think they do the goods issue in the A plant and they do the goods receipt in B plant. The plant is not the same.
Yes, correct. She's right.
In that case, it's in a good correct scenario. When they do in the same plant, that is not possible.
Sigmund, then you are confusing. Okay, what is done in goods, location A, that is they are sending the material. Now we are not discussing this point. What you are discussing it, they are receiving the material there in the plant B, right? They are doing the goods receipt.
Correct. Yeah, my bad.
Then for our internal production and all, then they will do the further goods issue. Now we have to consider only the B. Don't confuse the A and B separately. A is different, B is different.
Okay.
When you are in A, if you are getting some materials, first you will do the goods receipt. And then you will do the goods issue the material to the B.
Okay, sir. I will double check this tomorrow on my system, sir, because
at A itself, for one material, you will not do the goods issue to B, then do the goods receipt in A. Okay.
Right.
Do you get this point?
I understood, sir. Yeah.
Okay, right. So now let us talk about the planning calendar. Planning calendar we discussed here, right? It is aligning with that the planning time. Earlier we discussed, right? The planning cycle in MRP1. The planning calendar is defined the flexible period length for the MRP, so that according to the calendar, we want to have every second Wednesday or every second Sunday, we have to send the materials. Like that, we can define this planning calendar. We can also facilitate this one. Anyway, I'm not going to using this function in this course. If you want to practice after the course, you can practice it using this planning calendar. You can define the calendar and use it here.
Sir, one question over here, sir. Planning calendar we normally assign to the production location, then WB03, not here.
No,
to the old plant.
You are talking about the APO.
Not APO, sir. In ECC itself, we assign the planning calendar in the location, in the the manufacturing location, not on the material this material master level.
If you do not assign in the material master, system will not consider this for this planning year. You would have this planning calendar there. That is fine. But if you want to plan that material on every second Wednesday, every second Wednesday, it start to be defined in the material. Otherwise, it is just defined there, but it's not used.
No, sir, because I'm a bit sure about that. Because for the calendar, we stopped the calendar definition till the end of end of 2023. So after that, the planning in the ECC does not generate the correct.
No, that is factory calendar.
Okay, I got it now. Okay, that's a factory calendar. Yeah, okay, sir.
That is different. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll come back again another 4 or 5 minutes. Okay. We'll come back in 4 or 5 minutes using part 5.